This video is made possible by Second Call Defense. Second Call Defense provides immediate, upfront legal protection for a member who is forced to use any legal weapon for self-defense. So protect yourself today with Second Call Defense. I did. You'll find the link in the description. Hi, I'm Joel Persinger. I'm the Gun Guy. Thank you very much for all of your support of GunGuyTV. I'm super grateful. And in just a second, I'm going to explain to you why I think we got some vindication here and why I think we might actually be moving in the right direction in some areas. I'll explain that in just a second, but before I do, I want to urge you to check us out on these other platforms because YouTube is very, very sketchy. They may even kill this video because they don't agree with it. You just never know. But you can find me on these other places. And then please do check out the GunGuyTV Firearms podcast. It's an audio podcast that I do regularly, and it is available on your favorite podcast player. Lastly, if you get a chance and you wouldn't mind, join us on GunGuyTV Crew and help support GunGuyTV. That's one of the ways that I actually accomplish something with this thing because it's kind of been demonetized for the most part by YouTube, so it does help us out quite a bit. All right. What am I talking about? Kyle Rittenhouse has been found not guilty on all of the charges. And I realize there's a lot of talking heads talking about that and expressing their point of view. I realize I'm kind of a talking head, I guess, and I'm going to express mine. But in addition to the fact that this is a good kid who obviously did nothing wrong, if you watch the case, I actually watched it, the majority of it, not all of it, but a lot of it, and I could not see a way that they could find this kid guilty of anything. Now, you can argue whether it was wise for him to attend the event or not. That's a whole different question. But did he have the legal right to be there? Yes. Did he have the legal right to have the firearm? Yes. Was it incumbent upon him to take a beating or to have his gun stolen from him and then used on him or to be beaten with blunt objects or to be attacked with a gun? No. Self-defense. Done. That's it. So I hope the kid goes on to have a great life. I hope he goes on and gets his college degree, which I know he wants to do, and I hope that the media will leave the guy alone and let him live his life. Now, having said that, here's what I want to say about this whole thing, because finally, I think we get some vindication here of the way things used to be and need to be again, and that is this. If you want to protest, you have a lawful, constitutionally protected right to do that. To protest. Protesting is constitutionally protected, and protests should be protected. But there is a big difference between a protest and a riot. There's a huge difference between a protest and destroying property, burning down a town, and attacking bystanders all over the place, and in some cases killing them. And that's what we've seen with this whole Antifa, Black Lives Matter thing and whatever. And I don't care if it's Black Lives Matter or Antifa or another group. It doesn't matter. I'm not picking on them in particular. They have every right to protest. What they don't have a right to do is riot. They have every right to to believe their particular beliefs. They have every right to get on the streets and to protest and to let their voices be heard. But what I see in this decision and what encourages me is this. It sends a bit of a message, I think. And if it doesn't, it should. It should send a message to our politicians, and that is, if you want to defund the police, just the other day, the LA police chief said, well, with all the defunding and whatever, we can't really respond very fast, so what I want you to do is just cooperate with criminals and be a good witness. No. In LA right now, my understanding is they're having a sort of a rash of attacks and robberies based upon criminals seeing people in a public place, following them home, and then robbing them. And the answer from the police department is just cooperate, be a good witness. No. It's not incumbent upon me to allow somebody to rob me. It's not incumbent upon me to allow somebody to hurt me or hurt my family. I'm not going to do that. If they follow me home, that's not a wise decision on that criminal's part, and that's not going to go well for them. And I would hope that every citizen would look at it that way. In the same way, if somebody is rioting, not protesting, that's different. If they're rioting, they're burning down things, they're destroying property, they're attacking shop owners, they're attacking people on the street. We saw people killed over these Black Lives Matter and Antifa riots. Many. If they're doing that and they get hurt, or they get killed, sometimes that's the natural consequences of taking those types of actions. We found out that if you try to hit somebody with a skateboard, which, by the way, is a blunt trauma weapon, and you can cripple or kill somebody by hitting them in the neck or the head with a blunt trauma weapon. And a skateboard fits that description. If you're hitting somebody with a skateboard and then try to take their rifle away and you get shot and you die, getting shot and dying is the natural consequence of attacking somebody who has a gun with a blunt trauma weapon and trying to take their gun away. That's a recipe for getting yourself shot. And it should be. It should be. If you're going to run and chase some young guy and you're older and stronger and more violent and more aggressive, and you're going to chase down this guy and then you're going to try to lunge and grab his gun while you're yelling at him the whole time that you're going to kill him, and F this and F that and F you, and he shoots you and you die, that's the natural consequence of attacking someone whom you know has a gun and trying to disarm them and threatening to kill them the entire time. It's a natural thing. 1 + 1 = 2. That's the way the math used to go. If you point a handgun at someone after they've been knocked to the ground or hit on the head with a rock or whatever the case might be, that person has a gun, and you surreptitiously, it's one of these, and then you try to point the gun at the guy's head because you want to shoot him, and he shoots you and wounds you, that's the natural consequence of you making those choices and those actions. And that's where we should be as a society. I remember a time when if you tried to manhandle somebody, some innocent person, and that guy beat you senseless, the cops would show up and go, what happened? This guy attacked that guy, and that guy beat him senseless. Okay, well, guess who goes to jail? The guy who started it. The attacker goes to jail, not the other guy. But we flipped it on its ear now. Now, apparently, we're supposed to allow rioters to riot. We're supposed to allow them to tear up and burn down a town. We're supposed to allow them to attack people for no reason. We're supposed to allow them to injure and kill people whenever they want, and we're not supposed to resist. And if we're on the street, we're minding our own business, we've gone to the mall and we're go shopping, we get in our vehicle and drive home, and some criminal follows us home and we happen to be in the city of Los Angeles, we're supposed to just let them rob us and be nice to them and be kind and just be a good witness. Those days are gone. They're gone. When you're a politician, you want to defund the police department? When you want to let criminals out? When the highest ranking politicians in our federal government, many of them, I could name them, but I won't, but you know who they are, actually contributed to bailing rioters out of jail and then got elected to the highest offices in the land? When that happens, citizens have something called the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution, which guarantees their God-given right to defend themselves against evil, criminal people. That's why we have a Second Amendment. That's one of the reasons we have one. And that Second Amendment includes things like guns, it includes things like knives, it includes whatever weapon you need to use in order to defend yourself against evil. Kyle Rittenhouse was defending himself against evil. He was trying to bring some good to the situation, and he was attacked by evil. And unfortunately, people died as a result. But that's the natural consequence of choosing evil and attacking people who just happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. There's a good chance you could end up dead. And 2 of them did. There's a good chance you could end up with your arm blown up, and 1 of them did. That's the way this works. And so I'm very grateful for the verdict today, letting that young man go and exonerating him of all charges with prejudice so that he can't be brought up again, and letting him go on with his life, and hopefully he can. I saw Glenn Beck today promise to contribute money if he wants to sue everybody. I'd like to just start a little fund for Kyle Rittenhouse to help pay for his legal costs if he has any, and maybe help him pay for his college education. And I hope some company or some very conservative individual or politician or whatever will offer him a job or an internship or something so this kid can get his life back on track, because he's obviously a good kid and he was trying to do something right. But more than that, it puts these rioters on notice that there are juries that are not going to make political decisions. They're going to make decisions based upon the facts. which this jury in Kenosha did. There are judges that are not going to allow nonsense in their court, which this judge did not. And he went after. I thought the judge did a marvelous job. Regardless of the verdict, I thought the judge did a marvelous job in an attempt to make sure that Kyle Rittenhouse had a fair trial, not a twisted political one. I'm encouraged. I hope you are too. Finally, I just want to say it again. I hope that these kind of decisions happen more often, and I think in many ways it vindicates our rights and our abilities to defend ourselves against unlawful violence, which is what rioting and looting and attacking people and threatening people with death is. That's what was happening in Kenosha. And that's what Kyle Rittenhouse defended himself against. And I applaud him for doing so. I really do. I think the last thing is it allows us to realize that, you know what, when the police won't show up, when they won't do it, it's incumbent upon us to do it. And if we choose to do that within the law, which he did, then there's a good chance that the law is going to find that we did right. I hope that's the case, and I hope we move further in that direction. Well, there you go. There's my vent about the whole thing. Have a wonderful week. Have a great Thanksgiving if I don't upload something in the meantime, which I think I probably will. And wherever you go, whatever you do, be safe.